Morning, everyone. This is Brad Matheny. Today is the 2nd of December. It is a Monday. We're getting into December, and we have clearly seen a major breakthrough in the SPY above the previous support level. Remember, what I'm trying to teach you is a kind of mechanical type of system. It is based on Fibonacci Price Theory. It is based on, let me get rid of this blue line. It is based on some Elliott wave teaching. It is based on looking for what are called anchor bars, Fibonacci price theory, and excess phase peak patterns. And in theory, price is the ultimate indicator. We can determine what is likely to go on based on price activity and without any real indicators. This new high right here, this new closing price high, above the previous 3 bars highs, above the previous ultimate high level, which is this red line right here, indicates a very strong upward breakaway expansion type trend. This indicates a very strong upward trending that we now must understand represents continued bullish trending. We are likely going to see this continue to move higher up into, and I'll move the anomaly, and we are now from moderately bullish over here. We have now gone into strong bullish. The only thing that could change that is if we get down back below these 2 levels. So if we get some sort of rejection below this level, which I'll make in blue, and this level in red, then we could essentially see rejection at this point, and we would likely see then a pullback taking place, another pause, pullback into flagging. At this point, we are above these levels. We've closed above this with an anchor bar, a new higher close, a new breakaway of an all-time and unique high, which is an ultimate and unique high. And again, the potential here is for continued upward movement. We still have that anomaly range setting up down here. So potentially we could still get this move down here to the lower area. I'll put this down here. But until then, we're likely going to be moving up into this, by my estimate, 606 level. I did a video on this over the weekend, and or the 613 level, roughly up in here. Okay, so we have, and this comes from Fibonacci measured moves. In fact, you can see them back over here. I did a video just last weekend. It's very cool, actually. So we come back over here. We look at the SPY. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was this move. Rolling up into here. Anyway, what we had was, I think it was over here that I did it. This is an intra bar. Go to daily, go to SPY. Yeah, it was this one. So what I was doing was highlighting this move. So you can see we drag this, and where did I mark this? Not quite here. There was a move that I copied. There was a move that I copied into this pattern that, drawing a blank on it this morning, but theoretically it mapped out very cleanly. It might have been this move here. It was something similar to this: up, down, up, down, up, kind of like that. And it mapped out very cleanly to what we were seeing right over here. up, down, kind of like that. So when you look at this and you see this rotation up, you can imagine this similar type of move, same range, same pullback, same potential expansion right up here to the 612, 613 area, and same likely pullback. So it could very well be that we are just going through a repeat of, this pattern here, replicating out into this pattern over here. And that's something that I wanted to point out to traders is that, if my analysis is correct, we're going to be rolling through a very, potentially concerning still anomaly pattern into this range from these highs. And that could still be a level that we have to contend with. Okay, so I'm going back over here to my chart full of patterns. We did not get the breakdown event that I was expecting on or before the Thanksgiving holiday. We are now up into new highs. We are now into bullish trending. We must respect what price is teaching us. We must learn to adapt to what price is showing us. I still believe the anomaly event is possible. Okay. But this new move here eliminates the potential for rejection. We are now in a strong bullish trend. We are looking at that buy zone now setting up right over into this area. And we have targets up into this 606 and 613, 612 area. That's where I think the SPY is going to be trying to attempt to move to. So let's take a look at the SPY cycle patterns. We are looking at a temporary bottom today. We are currently trading at 602.43, moving into a counter trend gap reversal, which would be a downside move tomorrow. So we are going to be looking at a bottom setting up today. That would indicate, just like we have right here, a bottom setting up, possibly moving into kind of this range. So this would be a base bottom. And try to get in here to grab this. I'm going to try to do is duplicate these down here. So this is kind of a light pink, pinkish purple. And this is a cyan and a cyan and a red and a cyan. And there we go. So that would be a moderate example of where we could see price move. I've given you two of the resistance points. Remember, we're looking kind of for my buy basing pattern out in this area. So could be a very good indication that the anomaly pullback really didn't exist and we're just going to move into that buy pattern moving higher. Let me get rid of this. Oops. So again, pay attention to the fact that we're just following price. Price now has broken above, is confirmed. We have a good solid anchor bar. We're basically getting two or three triggers here saying that we're back into bullish trending. So I don't expect it to go very far right now, 606 to 613, but we're back into bullish trending. Okay, now let's come over to QQQs. QQQs are still moving in that sideways channel. We are 510 this morning, a little bit higher. We have yet to get above this ultimate high level up here, this green level. Once we do, we can safely confirm that we're back into a bullish trend. Until that time, we're still in a pullback flagging, and this flagging formation is continuing to, struggle out through this area. We're going to see what happens here. Really, we're going to try to map this out as cleanly, as closely as we can to the flagging pattern here. We are currently above what was my projected rejection area. Would be very interesting if we saw this move here from 610 roll right back down into this channel, particularly if we rolled into this type of a mode, rolled from this area downward into this area, rebounded just a bit, and then broke down into this lower channel. That would be extremely interesting, in my opinion, given the fact that we've had this big rollover type of pattern. And I think that we could see this play out. Like I said, I'm waiting for the unusual things to happen out of the end of the presidency, the Biden presidency. Yesterday, it was kind of expected the pardon of his son, Hunter Biden. I mean, that I think any father would have done that, and I can certainly understand it. But again, I think there's a little bit more that's likely to come, and I think it's going to kind of roil the markets a little bit. So let's go over here to gold and silver. Gold and silver are making a pretty solid rotational range again. I got the sniffles this morning. So you can see we've got this gap that is starting to kind of close, hasn't closed yet. It has closed here on the silver chart. You can see the gap right here has closed. It actually comes up to about here. We are rolling with higher lows. So you can see this higher low basis here kind of moving forward. It's a pretty good indication that, we might have some sort of a base bottom setting up, moving gold higher. The move from where we're at right now is from 64 up to 90. It's about a $25 move. And my general rule here, folks, is that, until we get above this 2690 area, this middle support area, which is right here, don't expect gold to go anywhere. That's really my general consensus right now. Gold is stuck in this channel. You can see that this low, as well as the ultimate low way down here. Remember, this is our ultimate low way down here. We are kind of stuck in this broad channel right here on gold between 2690 and 2620, trying to struggle outside of this range. It can be very volatile, it can be fairly dangerous. In and out of short term moves, okay. I mean, I think you can do that with some consistency. I think gold ultimately wants to move higher. So I'm looking for this break of the 2690 area and then ultimately above this 2720 area. Silver, on the other hand, is, like I said, consolidating. We still have this ultimate low down here. We still have this high level to try to break, and we still have this high level to try to break, which is actually more up into this area. So understand that we really are in this consolidated phase, and it's kind of interesting when you consider where we're at. So we have this low, we have this pullback, slight pullback, flagging. Now we're into this big broad pullback, but based on these patterns, we've staged into this consolidation pattern. I drew it here in orange. I'll draw it again. Excuse me. We're moving into this consolidation pattern, and you know what, guys? Man, what a consolidation pattern, right? It's really just literally just moved into this consolidation phase, retested this flagging low, and moved into this big, broad consolidation phase. We're not really going to clear this move until we get up above this level. And this is the bottom line. Until we get up above 2720 in gold, we are not going to have cleared this consolidation range. It's a big, broad consolidation range, but I think it's going to eventually move to the upside and it's going to really accelerate upward. Same basic thing we have here. This is a big, broad flagging formation. It's trying very, aggressively to build a base and a bottom, and then roll back out of this trend to the upside. So we are again trying to break to the upside, hold support and roll higher. Ultimately, before the end of the year, yeah, 33, 34, 35 on gold, or on silver, and in my opinion, up here into this 2940, 2960 area on gold. This is where I think we're really going to see a move take place, but we've got to get out of this consolidation range. So once we get above this 2690 on gold, 2722, 2720 area on gold, then we get the big breakaway phase, and that's going to correlate with silver over here. Okay. Lastly, we'll go over here to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is really breaking downward a bit. $2,000. Now, I will tell you that Bitcoin moving down uh, moderately is not a big deal, but a big collapse in Bitcoin would represent a pretty good understanding that a hype phase has kind of ended. This has been a pretty big rally for Bitcoin up to 100 grand. 100 grand is a psychological level. We are struggling below 100 grand right now. Ultimately, I do believe that Bitcoin's going to come back down here into this 82, possibly $72,000 level. We are flagging. You can see it here. We called this flag here. We now have a big broad flag over here. Very clean. We could essentially count this, but let's just go with this. This is a big, broader breakdown. And let's get rid of some of these lines. And get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. 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 Boy, where'd all these lines come from? Okay, so we have a couple little lines in here we'll get rid of. And I'll leave those for now. So we have this rolling kind of a pattern here, guys. It's a very solid excess phase peak pattern coming up, rolling down, flagging, flagging. You can see this very cleanly. And it sets up a very clear dominant trend. We have an anchor bar down here below the last three lows. We do have an anchor bar here high above the last three highs. And now we have an anchor bar setting up today below the last three lows. So this would be a fairly solid downward rotation if it confirms today to the downside. We had another anchor bar right over here to the downside. And then we had an anchor bar here to the upside, right here. So we're getting this rolling rotation that you can see. Make this a little darker so you can see it. So we're getting this roll, roll, roll. If we do get this breakdown, we would want to watch this level. And again, I think that we would be looking for a breakdown really rolling into this low area right here. So that would be my expectations rejecting this high level here that would be our ultimate high. So we would be looking for this level to be breaking down. We would be looking for a breakdown somewhat into this nature or this structure down into this 82 level. And then possibly if we can't hold at that 82 level, we would get some sort of a bounce and then maybe down into this 72 level. So this would be the structure. The number one would be the peak, and then number two would be the flagging, and then number three would be the breakdown, and then number four would be the flagging breakdown, which would be the final flagging breakdown to the ultimate low down here, number five. And this would be our flagging structure right here. So that would be the structure of the excess phase peak pattern. Excuse me. And it looks like it's playing out fairly cleanly right now. This is the same pattern we were looking for on the SPY, but it didn't happen. It climbed right back up and closed above this ultimate level, which means that this invalidated, and now we're back to bullish. So could we get a new rollover? Yep, we sure could on the SPY. The fact that we've got the SPY setting up in this mode, really breaking right here above this level, gives us a very clean indication that we're now strongly bullish. We don't no longer have that excess phase peak pattern setting up. The NASDAQ and the QQQ do. Bitcoin does as well. So we've got that same rolling flagging formation. This is, again, one of the only reasons why I still think the anomaly pattern is likely is we just don't have confirmation across the NASDAQ or, for example, the Dow Jones. We have already a clean high. You see here, we've already rolled to a very clean high on daily. So here's our pullback, our peak, our pullback, our flagging, broke to a new high right across here. This is now bullish, strongly bullish until we reach our new peak somewhere up here. We are going to be rolling into that bullish trend. Where could we determine the peak on the Dow Jones here? Well, two things that I would consider doing. I would look for similarities in this trend. So kind of looks like we may have a similarity here. I'll draw it so we can see. And come over here and drag it. Yep, so you see the height. What I'm not looking for is the time. In other words, I'm not looking for this continued structure. I'm looking for it to be maybe quicker. So understand that this is a quicker version of this. I've drawn this high across here, drawn this low across here. I've drawn this high across here, a little bit higher. And then I've come from here, once we get to this high, down to this low, right about here, back up to this high. So you can see if I come back up here, so we're running into that resistance level. If this is correct and we get this rotation, we're running into this resistance level right over here. And I would suggest that we're very close to a moderate rollover. If this is correct, it's just unusual how this structure is playing out as an advancement. This would be considered a full 100% measured move up to 46,200 on the Dow Jones. But again, this is nothing more than price repeating itself, which is the whole basis of, Fibonacci price theory and the excess phase peak pattern and Fibonacci 100% measured moves and essentially Elliott wave. Price is repeating itself in patterns over and over again, just in different constructs. So we'll see how it plays out. Like I said, I'm expecting a little surprise between now and, let's call it, the inauguration and or into early February. So I do believe that there is downside risk available, but we are clearly pushing higher right now. So do not argue with the train. I'm still keeping the uh, the 85% cash mode until we get out here past my warning zone, which really will be right over here. I will move us out of the protective cash measure right out here in this area, right around Christmas, maybe a little before Christmas. The reason being, I think we're just looking at some very strong potential for an anomaly, some weird price action. Okay, that's it for now, guys. Talk to you later.